You stay in the pain because the pain is providing you some sort of benefit. And so for me, that pain was providing me an excuse to stay in certainty, in stagnancy, in the devil that I knew. And it also, staying in the pain provided me with a feeling of significance in that I felt special, set apart because of what had happened to me. Yeah, but that doesn't apply to me because I'm an alienated parent. I didn't fit into the parent or mom group, but I didn't fit with the single people or the people that never had kids. I was like this exception to all the rules. And even though it was miserable and very lonely, like isolating, right? And I know you guys can all understand that, it also gave me this feeling of being set apart and being unique, which I thought in a way, I didn't think this on on a conscious level, but I thought it was fulfilling that need to feel significant. Sometimes as alienated parents, I think that if all the other avenues didn't work and we're not excelling at something in a positive way, then we just learn to excel at fucking up in a way, underachieving. And I know that this is a painful truth. At least it was for me. I found this on my own. I think if somebody were to tell me this, that I would have definitely resisted it. It would have made me very angry to think that I was causing this or staying in this because it was by choice, because I was wanting to feel special or unique from my pain. Because really, honestly, I wanted anything but being in that awful, awful suffering and pain that we all know so well as a result of feeling alienated, excavated from our own children's lives. It's a pain that I wouldn't wish on anybody. But because I couldn't find a way to thrive through it, I chose to single myself out because of it. And that provided me with that significance in an awful way. And then also provided me with that certainty of at least I know this. There's a lot of predictability in this. I don't have to risk failure. Like I can just use the other people's choices to do what they did as an excuse for the rest of my life. And that is why I felt like I was at the bottom of a pit with no exit doors back in the day. That was my visual from this fucking life on earth, but really living in hell place. I didn't want to risk my own disappointment in myself if I couldn't make it past the hump, because then what? What would that mean about me if I dropped that persona, that identity of the battered, abused, alienated mom and wife? What if I dropped that? Then who the fuck was I? That is really, truly, it gave me this sense of certainty and security because at least I was something. Who was I without that? I didn't know. And that was even scarier, Like if I'm not this mom that devoted her whole life to her child, which by the way, again, I will say, as much as I take so much pride in my motherhood and being a mom, even though I'm not doing it actively like I wanted to be before, it is a noble position, all the active moms out there, that I would take back in a heartbeat. But I will also say that it wasn't a feat to take on that role. It wasn't me risking anything to step into those shoes. In fact, it was just sort of the evolution of me, right? Oh, now I'm a mom. This is what I do. There was no risk involved. There was huge risk in letting go of that as my only definer, as my only anchor into the world. But that anchor was actually keeping me in a hell that I would never want to be in again. So what is keeping you in the pain of your situation of alienation? Most likely is some iteration of that, of not wanting to let go of this story, of this identity that you've created for yourself because of what you're willing to see and the story that you're willing to retell to yourself and reinforce for yourself about why your life is currently the way it is. And if you continue to retell that story about why your life is currently the way it is because of somebody else, your life will never change. Not by your hand anyway. And I don't want that for you. And I know that you don't want that for you. So in order to create something new, you have to think and believe something new. Dare to believe something new about you and about what you're capable of and about even what your identity is now today. But I will always identify myself as a mom, always, because she is my love. She's my heart. She is just part of me. And I will always continue to find ways to exercise that God-given right to mother her. But also, I am so much more. I am a mom who's been through hell and now has paved her way back by helping herself and helping all of you out there. I'm a mom who strives to and thrives to learn and suck in all of the data and information and helpful tools and concepts in neuroscience and psychology that I can in order to reinterpret and then regurgitate to you to help you and to support you to become your highest version of yourself. That's really who I am today. I don't even think about it as that I have been wronged anymore. That was just part of, they were my ex. I'm still working on the stepmom, but he was just a pawn in my development. And I know that for my daughter, I truly believe that I have to believe for me, that's my choice, is that it's also doing the same thing for her. It's just that her road started sooner than mine. And I really, of course, as a mom, hope that she never has to go through the pain that I ever went through. I also have to trust that she too, her soul chose this route for her. She chose this and it was always meant to happen this way so that she could get to the highest version of herself. Knowing that regardless of what happens, her soul, will always rise above all of this earthly pain that we have. And I know that sounds a little far out for some of you, but I do think it's important. For me, it was important to gain some perspective on life aside from my little world, right? That there was bigger purpose and meaning to all of this. And I choose to believe that it's because these are the lessons that I chose. This was the pathway that I chose for myself beforehand, knowing that in the end, I'm going to get to exactly where I'm supposed to be, learning the lessons that I'm supposed to learn. If I'm constantly choosing to dive straight in to the ways, willing to stay open and out of denial. If I were, let's say, if I were somebody that continued to deny, tried to buffer or numb myself out of the current state of my life, then I think I would probably perish. And because I would have been resisting the constant evolution, something probably quote unquote bad would happen to me. And then I believe that I would have had to come right back to this world again and experience all of the same exact circumstances in another life until I decided to face it. Who knows? Maybe that's what happened to me before. I don't know. I don't really get into the whole other lives things, but I truly believe that that's what happens. Like people that decide to check out early or not to face the stuff, the lessons are there for a reason. And so in some way, shape, or form, I truly believe that you will end up facing them, whether it's this life or another.